Tharr, mateys, welcome to yon podcast. You yelled too loud.
Oh, dang it. Huzzah!
It went like this.
I'll just put like an asterisk, insert pirate noises.
Right. Paige, what are we talking about today?
Probably one of the greatest Disney movies of all time.
A
Pirates of the
Bug's Life.
Caribbean. No, that's next time.
Okay,
Yeah,
I cut
Pirates
you
of the
off.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
More specifically, we're probably going to focus on 1, 2, and 3. And we'll mention a little bit of 4 and 5, but I think we're going to stick with the original trilogy a little bit more.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just learning this, so that's good.
Well, I don't know. I assume so because, like, I know a lot more about the first 3. I don't know about
I
you.
know a lot about the first one, so yeah. Cool. Yeah, let's jump right in. Wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't say that.
Walk the plank to jump right in.
Okay, so we are going to talk about the overview and the culture of the fans.
Yeah.
So give us a quick rundown.
I mean, if you haven't seen Pirates of the Caribbean, it was based on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland of just what it's like to be a pirate and the fun and adventures that they have. And it follows more specifically Captain Jack Sparrow, who has a really cool story about how he used to be a trader, not trader Traitor, but Trader, trader. Anyway, he used to take goods from one country to another country, and then he found out that those goods were children, and then he broke his contract, and then Davy Jones was sent to collect on him, but he continues to escape death. And it follows his story and how he gets into these harebrained schemes and eventually comes out victorious, I would say.
Is he the main character or is it Will?
Well, I think that they wanted you to think that it was Will in the first one, but considering that Johnny Depp had 2 movies after, I would say Johnny Depp. Well, Captain Jack Sparrow.
But one could argue that those 2 movies are the spin-off of the side character of Captain Jack Sparrow.
I mean, I could see where you're coming from, but considering that he has such a cool intro, there's no freaking way that Will Turner is the main character.
Well, it's actually Will, Elizabeth, and Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, a trio. But I think out of all of them, Johnny Depp got paid the most.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He
Yeah.
was the most well-known actor at the time, too.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were going to go after that role. Anyway, that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Caleb, what do you think about their fans?
The fans, I think, are just humans in general. I don't think I know anyone who just despises Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I don't think there is either. I think there is a genuine love for it.
And I also don't think it's like a fandom. Like, I feel like there's not a group of people out there that are like, oh, I'm so into pirates, you know?
Yeah.
I guess back in the day there was pirates versus ninjas going on, like at school.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I guess there was that fandom.
Yeah, I would say there's not really. I know that there's like fans, but I wouldn't say that they define themselves as like top tier. Like this is my number one thing that I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I think it's just something that everyone just generally enjoys and no one like grasps onto it as like that's my personality.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that it's like pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Yeah.
Dope. So yeah, everyone is a fan. The culture is people who just like pirates and wish that they could steal stuff. but in like a moral way.
Yeah, like a Robin Hood, steal from the rich, give to the poor, slash keep it for
Yeah,
yourself and drink yourself to death.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good slash in there.
Yeah.
I think we're already kind of going into why do people love Pirates of the Caribbean?
I think personally for me and for you, I would say, is the music.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Hans Zimmer, right?
Number one was actually done by Klaus. I don't know how to say his last name. Bedalt. I don't know. I don't. Klaus. My boy Klaus did number one, but he was studying under Hans Zimmer at the time.
Oh, so it has a Hans Zimmer like influence.
It's really interesting. If you go listen to Gladiator's music, which is in 4/4 time, and then you switch it to 6/8 time, it's now Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like up at scout camp when we'd like play music in the store, when I was like doing the cashier stuff.
Hmm.
I used to tell kids like, "Hey, I'll give you a free soda if you can guess what movie this is," and I'd play Gladiator, and without fail, every kid guessed Pirates of the Caribbean.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like a few movies that will come out in your life, I feel like, that define a genre. Not just like a movie, but a genre, right? So I think we had like John Williams who did Star Wars, and you like hear his music from Star Wars and you just instantly feel like sci-fi, you feel like you're in that like realm. And I
Hmm.
think he also did the same for Harry Potter too. Like you hear that like little ditty and you're like, "Oh, wizards." And when you hear like the Pirates of the Caribbean, it just makes you like you're like, oh, I can smell the seawater, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, seriously.
it's just crazy. It just like I think for me, that's one of my biggest reasons why I love the movies.
Wait, what's your favorite song from it?
Curse of the Black Pearl, classic, OG.
Wait, which how's that one go?
Da 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 da. That one.
Hmm, I'm gonna have to go listen to it.
I'm so sorry if I assaulted anyone's ears just now.
My favorite one is Barbosa is Hungry.
Oh, that's a good one. You
Yeah.
know what's crazy is I used to know the songs. Like I used to be able to like quote the movie over the song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was obsessed about like I loved it so much.
Yeah, I love like I used to listen to soundtracks one, two, three, and four. Never really got into five, but yeah, they're just so good.
Well, what's another reason why people love it?
I think it's a little bit like what I was saying before. Everyone has always had fantasies of like being a pirate.
Yeah.
You know, when you can like sit in your like modern day amenities and like forget about brackish water and how they had to eat pickles and boiled eggs and just they were just riddled with all sorts of diseases. When you forget all that stuff, being a pirate sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah,
So
that's true.
I think that's why people like it. I mean, who doesn't want to be a pirate?
Also, I genuinely enjoy watching Johnny Depp run from danger on screen. I think it's so fun. Like he never like I feel like there's in a lot of movies I get like anxiety or I'm like, "Oh, I just want this chase to be over," because it's like giving me anxiety. But then like watching Johnny Depp try to escape anything is like the most fun in any movie.
Yeah, they do get a little fast and furious in the later movies with some like at the
Yeah.
beginning of number two, how he like that whole thing at the beginning. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Or in I think it was number 5 when they like start out with like a heist and they literally pull a vault out of a building. Like that's straight Fast and Furious 5.
Wait, did they do that in Pirates?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's like on trial and then Johnny Depp is and then they rescue him as well as like rob the bank at the same time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I've only seen number four one time and number five 1.5 times.
Mm.
So
I think I've seen him like a couple times, maybe 3 times if I was like on a plane or something. But I
nice.
think if people were to say that like I hate this fandom, and I think it would be because of 4 and 5,
Yeah,
more of
that's true.
5.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Um, are there any other reasons why you think people love it?
Um, I think people just like the actors. They got a pretty big A-list team going there, and I
Yeah,
mean
well, they
they.
weren't super A-list until Pirates, but yeah.
Well, I don't know because uh Orlando Bloom had already been in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but when they cast him, I don't think Lord of the Rings had like come out yet. So like he did Lord of the Rings. They filmed all three movies back to back. So it wasn't like the first one came out and then he went back and filmed number two. Then so he
It
didn't
was
like
it was pretty close. Same with Keira Knightley though. Like they caught her
yeah,
right
but
at the height of her career.
yeah, what I'm saying though is like I think Orlando Bloom probably finished Lord of the Rings and then immediately got hired on for Pirates. So like it they didn't know how much notoriety he was going to get from Lord of the Rings. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he wasn't like super A-list yet.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
And
But
same with
yeah,
Keira Knightley. Like, what else did she do before Pirates of the Caribbean? King Arthur's the only thing I can think of.
she did the Atonement. I think at that time she might have done like Anna Karenina. I
Oh
know
yeah,
during it she did Pride and Prejudice.
King Arthur actually might have been during it also.
Oh yeah. Well, no, that was probably before.
I thought it was, but I don't know. I don't have like a
Star
chart.
Wars. She was in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. How could I forget? Queen Amidala.
Yeah.
Cool. Another reason why I think people love it is it has been a ride at Disneyland since before the movies.
How could I have forgotten that? You're completely right. That's probably like the number one.
Yeah, people were and like I think people kind of felt this with Jungle Cruise too. They're like, "Oh, sweet, we're getting a movie for like this really awesome ride." But I don't think Jungle Cruise capitalized on it as well as Pirates.
Well, when you cast Dwayne the Rock Johnson, everyone was like, is this Jumanji?
Seriously. I also think there wasn't like as much effort put into the story as Pirates.
I would say that. Also, once again, the music. Like the music was good, but it didn't stand out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of a single theme.
I also don't necessarily relate to like, oh, I want to traipse through the forest and go treasure hunting.
I do.
Like, I mean, but I want to be good at sword fighting. I think that'd be sick in Pirates sword fight, you know?
Yeah, well, really, they could have done Jungle Cruise as like an offshoot of Pirates of the Caribbean because, like, I mean, Pirates is, I mean, it's all about boats and treasure, and then Jungle Cruise is also boats and treasure, but on a river instead of in the ocean. So
That
it's almost like they could have taken Gibbs and like he could have been like, oh, I heard about this treasure over in where's Jungle Cruise supposed to be? Brazil?
Yeah, the Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, so like he could have been like, I heard of a treasure over in Brazil. Let's go check it out. And then he's like on this like little riverboat.
That would actually be super cool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you remember the premise of Jungle Cruise. We're sort of straying away a little bit, but it's on the same like Disney park rides. Um, Something about Jungle Cruise is like the the guy, the main character, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, was supposed to be living for like thousands of years. So technically, he would have been alive during the Pirates
Oh,
era.
interesting.
So that would have been actually super cool, and I think the fans would have probably appreciated it more if they were able to connect the rides and create another like universe.
Yeah. The Disney Park cinematic universe.
Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, they should
Yeah.
hire us.
Seriously. Hey, Disney, if you're one of our 37 subscribers, reach out.
They should be.
If you're not one of our 37 subscribers, this isn't just Disney, this is everyone. Just go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe and help us out, please.
Yeah, we still got those goals.
Yeah. If you've noticed, we now have a song.
Yeah, for Caleb, he did it. Amazing.
Wow. I want, am I on that side for you on your
Yep.
screen?
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
This is not the first time you've asked me that.
Well, I mean, last time, or not last time, but like with Rocket League, I was like, oh, my username's right here, but it was like over here. He didn't help me out with that.
So sorry.
Anyway, let's move on to theories
Okay.
or controversies, I think.
Well, obviously, like one of the biggest controversies is Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard
Yeah,
fiasco.
I don't super want to get into that though.
I don't really,
Positive vibes, people.
yeah. Honestly, like, I think people still respect him in terms of like how he portrayed Johnny or Jack Sparrow. So if he were to ever return, I think people would be okay with it because I think that's like at least for like my area, my generation, I feel like that's how we knew Johnny Depp. Even though he was like in a lot of like teen movies when he was a teen, I think that's Captain Jack Sparrow is how we got to know him. So if he ever
Yeah,
decided,
100%.
yeah, if he ever decided to return back to that role, I don't think it would be too much of a controversy. I think people would actually sort of accept him and be like, "You're home," and like pat him on the head or something, you
Yeah,
know?
well, especially after he's kind of been vindicated. Like
Yeah.
he lost in the UK, but he won in the US. But also, I know I said I didn't want to get into this, and we are, but he lost against um the like magazine specifically in the UK, but he
Yeah.
won against Amber Heard, which I think is more important.
Yeah. And I think it's important to show that like they both were defaming each other. So I feel like it was just like a marriage squabble that should have been handled more privately.
Yeah, just guys, don't be mean to people. Don't poop in their beds. Don't step on bees. You know, life lessons.
Life lessons. Um,
Yeah.
I would also say another controversy that they had is they had such a strong 1, 2, and 3 storyline, and they weren't able to execute 4 and 5. Like they didn't have like a clear picture, and everyone saw what Disney was doing, and it was just a money grab.
Yeah, which like, okay, we're this is theory time. So in number 4, there's the priest and the mermaid.
Love them.
Yeah, but she pulls him down and like kisses him or whatever. And it's been so long since I've seen the movie, but like I feel like there was something where like if a mermaid kissed you under the water, like you got like some sort of like powers or something.
You live forever, and you can breathe underwater.
There we go. Where's our movie about the priest? Why
If
hasn't he come back?
if they had followed him, I think that's exactly where people wanted to go after Pirates, because like Pirates alone are already sort of like this like pirates exist in real life, but like the idea that Disney was pushing are very like fantasy pirates. So if they're on the fantasy side, I think people would have loved to see a serious film about mermaids.
Well, I mean, we just saw a film where Calypso turned into a 9-story monster.
Well, yeah, but like, and everyone was okay with it. So why didn't
Yeah.
Disney like keep going along that path, you
Yeah,
know?
lean into it, guys. Well, I think it's because it would have abandoned Jack Sparrow a little bit.
Yeah, I do. Maybe that's why they like brought it back. And I mean, number 5, they did show Will Turner's son, and they like followed him, but I just wasn't connected to them. Like their story just felt thrown at us.
Yeah, I feel like number 5 was more about Barbosa than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they
Janessa
were,
and I make fun of it all the time.
oh, really? Why?
At the end, when she's like, "What am I to you? Treasure." And then he just like falls and dies for no reason. I don't know. It's the dumbest movie I've seen. I
That's
hated number
so
5.
funny. Yeah, I just didn't like number 5. I think if they had followed, because we're on the theory part, right? If they followed the priest and the mermaid, I think I would have liked to see how he like integrated himself into the mermaid like community. And it doesn't have to be fully about mermaids. Like the mermaids could have like a squabble with like um a pirate community, and he has to like help them, and he could get his friends to help them, you know? That would have been
Disney,
fine.
hire us.
Yeah.
I guess
Seriously.
they're not hiring any writers right now. So
We're not
wait,
those people.
we're not union. Can we be hired?
I, there's like a scabs. That's what they're called. Those are called scabs. People who come in and take jobs of people who are picketing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I found that out on TikTok.
Great.
Yeah.
Another theory thing that I thought of. You know how you're talking about how it's like fun to watch Jack run away and stuff?
Hmm.
I've seen some people discuss that like he never walks like that when he's on a boat.
Oh, so it's sea legs.
Yeah, he has sea legs. That's why he walks stupid, is because like he's used to the boat.
Interesting. Well, and then
Yeah.
there's like another theory that's like the dog is the real villain.
The dog that wouldn't give Jack
The
the
keys.
keys.
And then he's like they like worship the dog in the cannibalistic community.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when I was a kid, I posted on Facebook this question, and I think it may have been answered, but I want to know what you think.
Hmm.
So Will becomes the new Davy Jones,
Yeah.
thus making him immortal.
Hmm.
And he can only see Elizabeth every 10 years when he's allowed to step on dry land, right?
Well, technically she can go out and see him.
Well, I think it's like kind of implied that she can't because it goes underwater and she would die.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
Yes.
that leads directly into what I'm thinking though. Why can't she just pledge herself to Davy Jones and then hey, happily ever after? Like she's immortal too now.
I don't know. I honestly think when they like came up with Davy Jones' curse, they came up with a poem and they were like, "Yeah, this works." And then all of a sudden people were like, what about this? Actually." And
Yeah.
I think
They
Disney
didn't
just
think
has
about the rules too much.
yeah, yeah, exactly. They were like, "Hey, this man is like escaping jail like just by pure luck." So we don't feel like we have to explain anything. But in my mind, like from my viewpoint, I think that she can go out there and like be out there with him. But when he crosses over and does his job, which is escorting souls to the other side, then she can't cross over with him because then she
Mm,
would become one of those souls. And I think the whole like portion of like her staying on land, I think she is like a part of the curse. So if she ever pledged her soul to Davy Jones, Davy Jones would then no longer be immortal because she's like the other half.
oh, interesting. Um, if I remember correctly, I think someone said that she's the Pirate King, and the Pirate King is also immortal.
Oh, that is
So
another thing. Yeah.
doesn't super matter. But also it kind of does. I wouldn't want to see Janessa just once every 10 years.
Yeah, that would sort of suck. But I mean, they did technically break the curse in number five.
Did they?
Yeah, that was like the
With
whole
the
premise.
trident?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the whole premise of the film. They break the trident at the end, and then
But I
Will is
thought
able to
that just
come.
broke I just thought that broke the curse of the conquistador guy.
No, it broke all the curses.
So Will is just no longer immortal.
Yes, I think so.
Stupid.
I don't know. I don't really. I think that's why I don't really like think about number five. I really, really, really like one, two, and three though. I think they built like a like super cool world, and I mean they could have even followed a different like pirate from a different like area, and I think the fans would have been more accepting of that than at least number five. Number four actually wasn't too bad. I liked the story of the priest and the mermaid.
Yeah. Yeah, and Blackbeard. Come on.
Yeah, and come on, come
Come
on,
on.
come on,
Come on.
come on. Is there any
I'm
other
a little
theories?
bummed they never had Shmee.
They just show Hook out of nowhere, like chasing like a little boy.
They literally could bring Hook in if they ever do a number six.
Well, there is a Peter Pan ride.
There's also a Peter Pan movie.
Yeah, but they could make it more about the ride.
But also, and this is getting more into legal stuff, I think Disney just straight up owned Pirates of the Caribbean. Peter Pan is like I think it's a story in the public domain.
Well, yeah, sort of
So
like Snow White also.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like Disney started in the public domain, but I think nowadays they're sticking to like their normal stuff.
Speaking of Disney like owning it, did you know, this is interesting, that Disney before Pirates of the Caribbean had released rated PG-13 movies and rated R movies, but they used their like counterpart name, which is Touchstone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pirates of the Caribbean was the first one that they branded as Disney that was rated above a PG.
I did know that. Did you know that Pirates of the Caribbean was the first PG-13 movie that I was allowed to watch?
I did not.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was 12 years old and mom and dad let me watch it.
Wow.
So our three older siblings were not allowed to watch any PG-13 movies until they were 13. I got to watch one PG-13 movie. Mom and dad were kind of stingy with you, but not super. And then with Porter, he just had free reign from birth.
I remember vividly, and this is not to do with Pirates of the Caribbean, but since you said yours, I feel a little bit jealous that I anyway, mine was stepmom. So
Are you sure? Because I feel like you were in the room when we watched Pirates.
I was, but I had seen stepmom like a month before.
You had seen a PG-13 movie before me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, legally.
Wait, I think so.
Like mom let you watch it.
Like I think she was watching it and she was like, ah, you won't
Oh,
understand
okay.
anything. And it just
Yeah,
sort of
because
like
I
went
had
over my head.
definitely seen PG-13 movies. Don't tell. But
Oh, you mean like mom and dad knew? Yeah, they knew.
yeah, I'm saying Pirates is the first one they knew about.
Oh, so technically I didn't see one before you.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You saw one legally before me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not cool.
I'm not sorry.
All right. I think it's time to move on.
I think so too. Sorry, guys. We'll get back on track.
Yeah, Ramble Town. Pop culture babies, which Janessa had a question about this. She's like, what are pop culture babies? So just to reiterate, it's like what has been created from this intellectual property.
Specifically from the movies, I would just say costumes and cosplay.
And 4 and 5, we were kind of counting those as like separate.
Yeah, as like a shoot off. The thing is, the movies themselves are a pop culture baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're completely right. I don't think from the movies there's any pop culture babies that
Uh
I know of.
it's kind of a cyclical thing. Like the ride created the movie, but because of the movie, now Jack Sparrow is in the ride.
That's true.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like everything else that's in the ride was like there before. Like the dog with the keys was part of the
hmm
ride before it was part of the movie. Things like that.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story, and we can cut it out if you don't think it's funny, but I think it's hilarious. We went to Disneyland right after we got married, with my in-laws, and my niece, she was having like the day. She was like 4 years old at the time, maybe five. She's probably five. And she went on It's a Small World, which is a water ride that you get to like ride really slow in a boat. And
Mm-hmm.
she goes, after the ride, we were like, "Hey, how was it? Did you have fun?" And she was like, "I love the one with the boat." And I was like, "Oh, you'll love Pirates. There's a one with pirates. It has a boat in it also." And I was like, "You're gonna love it if you love boats." Anyway, I forgot that when you go on the ride, there's like a drop right at the beginning. It's
Yeah.
probably just it's not even like the biggest drop. But if you're five and you don't have a seatbelt, like that drop, and it's like pitch black too. Anyway, she hated it. I like hyped it up so much. I think I had to earn her trust back a little bit.
Nice. Fun fact, there's a skull over a bed in
Mm-hmm.
that ride, and it's an actual human skull.
Creepy.
Yeah, well, they couldn't create one that looked real enough, so they just got a real one. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if they've changed it out since then, but yeah, how neat is that?
Wow. Yeah, I I got stuck on the ride once. I feel like getting stuck on pirates is like a common thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's still such a great ride. I think it like is slow enough that like I don't know, just like the vibe, the ambiance of it and everything, I think just creates like that pop culture baby. I think when you think of pirates, you can't not think of pirates without thinking of like what Disney has like put in front of us.
that's true. Yeah, if you ever think of a pirate, like there's people who create pirate costumes that look exactly like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. Like so I think now that could be considered a pop culture baby is like our ideas of pirates and how we
Yeah.
see them.
Ooh, that's deep.
Thank you.
Cool. How would you suggest people join the fandom if they're not already in it?
If you haven't seen the movie, just watch it.
It's on Disney Plus.
You won't regret it if you haven't seen it. If you have legitimately been boycotting it your whole life, now is the time.
The CGI has aged a little poorly for number
Yeah.
one. Just barely. It was so good at the time.
But honestly, is it on them or is it on you for not watching it?
True. That's true.
I don't know. Is there any other tips that you would give people trying to get
If you're
started?
not going to get into it by watching the first movie, get into it by going on the ride. Like that's pretty much like I feel like if you are like staunch about not watching it, at least try the ride if you can afford Disneyland
Or Disney World?
or Disney World or
Yeah.
Disneyland Japan. I'm sure they have it.
Or Disneyland Tokyo. Wait, that's
That's
is
the same
Japan.
one.
Disneyland Paris.
Patty.
Paris.
Cool. Out of five, what do you get? Okay, let's do each one individually real quick and then the series as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
What do you give number five?
Movie number 5,
Yeah.
2.1.
Oh, I would give it a 2.6.
Interesting.
Yeah, because 2.5 is the exact middle. I don't care. It's a little enjoyable to me.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I would never go back and rewatch it. So it's a 2.1 for me.
Wowzers. Number
Yeah.
four.
Number 4 I would put at a 3.4. All
Wow.
3.4 of those are for the priest and the mermaid.
I was just gonna give it a 3 solid.
Oh, interesting. We just keep like jumping back and forth.
Yeah. Number three.
I would say a 4.3.
I would give it a 4.
Interesting. Why?
Yeah. Here's the thing. When I went to watch it at the midnight release, I was so tired and I fell asleep during the big whirlpool scene.
Oh no.
And I've only seen it a few times since then, and like there's so much involved in number three that the story gets a little convoluted to me.
Yes, that's why mine was a little bit lower. I feel like they didn't give it enough time. Like I wish they would have spent more time on being like, "Hey, did you guys know that there's other pirates out there?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number two.
Number 2, I'd put 4.5.
Nice. I would say 4.3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that one was just a really good commercial for number three, but then there was so much that happened at number three.
I think that they did really good at world building. They kept the same tone and the same vibe, but
Kind
they
of.
also,
It was more fantastical than the first one.
I would also say though, they did take away from the romance. And I think that's what made me a little bit like, okay, well, there was no need for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that the compass kept pointing at Jack for her because he was the one who knew how to steer the ship, kind of thing.
Yeah.
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 Number one.
I would say 4.8.
Same, 4.8.
Hey, Zoom 5.
My
Whoops.
hat.
Why are you giving it a 4.8?
I mean, it's just so good, but like that point two, I think is the CGI a little bit.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say the CGI, and I feel like they could have explained a little bit more. Something that I will say about Pirates of the Caribbean, Will and Elizabeth are only in the same scene like twice.
Oh, interesting.
So you're supposed to be convinced that these two people love each other, but the whole movie they're not in it together.
Well, they convinced me, so
Yeah, but I'm aware of it, so it's not like a 5. I'm a huge person on
Yeah.
like if you're gonna build a romance, you got to make sure that it's like believable.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's a movie out there that I would actually give a solid 5 to. Oh, yeah. Lord of the Rings. Even then, though, probably 4.9 because I mean, I know it doesn't follow the books.
Have you ever done a Lord of the Rings episode?
No. I think Ren wants to get in on that one. We'll
Oh
have to
yeah,
ask
that's
him.
right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is our Pirates of the Caribbean episode.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun.
Bum, 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 bum.
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks. Arrr!
Wow.
Nerd.